Well, I'm Roly Adlam. I was lucky enough to meet a talent. Robert and I went into partnership, so that's two. And then when we inherited this, when we took over this factory, right from day one, Nancy was looking after the factory, and we decided to employ her rather than give her bad news. And she's now our finishing lady. She finishes the bags, gets rid of the threads, burns the threads off, polishes, gets rid of the glue, etc. And then we populated the factory with a few machines that we acquired either brand new or second-hand from Germany. And then we set about obviously deploying those machines, and we could only deploy them with staff. So that was an interesting period, so we acquired staff. And maybe within a year we had maybe 10, 12 of us. It's too long ago, I can't remember. Working now in leather for about 50 years. Then when we set up, about 35 years, and it was a marriage of convenience between me and he. I invested some money, Robert designed and trained people, and it seemed sensible that we deployed my money and his skills. So we went with leather, and I'm very happy because I like leather. Well, the raw materials are quite diverse. I mean, first of all, we'll start off with leather. Initially, we went to Barter up in Limuru and Alfarama down in Athi River. But beyond that, we've now snared, so to speak, a new tannery in Nakuru, and our predominant supplier is in Sagano. As to the other materials, we actually try to get a lot of the fittings from local one-man, two-man outfits who are recycling brass. The lining we get from town, and there's a variety of other smaller items that we import from China and from Swaziland. Leather clearly is a byproduct of cows, sheep, goats, pigs, so on and so forth, many, many different animals. We predominate, in fact, to the degree of, I would say, 99% on cow leather. Now, first of all, the cows sadly slaughtered, goes to the abattoir, the skin is flayed, and the flayed skin goes to the tannery. And then the tannery goes about the dark art of, from that, creating finished leather. There are different types of finished business grow and to succeed in making a decent profit, but sadly that has eluded us. issues to be overcome. I mean, first of all, you have to be absolutely dedicated to your cause, to what you want to do. You have to be extremely conscious of the money you want to invest, and you have to be forward-thinking. You have to think about what is your product or service that you're providing to the community, what is the people you're targeting within the community, and how to go about.
So, leather industry is very diverse, and we saw that there was a gap in the industry. When Rolly and Robert came into Kenya, Robert was seconded from Europe to come and just help a few companies that were already in the leather industry to make sure that their processes are going well and just to improve the processes. So when Rolly joined him, they saw that there's a gap in the industry, and so they decided to invest in the sector. Then later on we joined them. So having said that, is that we also saw that there's a gap. The company started in the year 2009. Back then, the leather business was not as established as it is right now. So they saw that there was a gap in the industry, and they saw fit that they'd be able to invest and make something out of it. So we saw that other than all the other option that they'd have settled and invested in, they saw that leather had the most opportunities, and so they decided to invest in the leather industry. concept of what exactly you'd want to produce, say a travel bag. First, it starts with a concept. You say exactly how you'd want your travel bag to look. So it starts with making of the pattern. After the pattern has been made by the designer, it goes into the cutting. So you cut, then after it's been cut, it's assembled. After it's been assembled, it's stitched. So it's a back and forth stitching, and so you assemble, you stitch, then you finish. But those are just broad terms. But there's a very detailed process that a bag goes through before it goes to the end, becomes the end product. So it's a very huge process that goes from cutting, branding of the product, assembling, stitching, finishing, packing. So that's the broad process. So different products will take different development times. For instance, if you're making a very simple product, call it a wallet, a small wallet, and you're making a travel bag, of course the time that you spend to do each is different. Or if you're doing a product that is very easy to make, something like a key holder, it will take probably a few minutes. So what we've done as a company is that the products that we've been making over a long period of time, so we have done what you call, we have cutting dies, just to make sure that we shorten the process of making the product. For instance, if you are to cut a product by hand, it will take, of course, more time. But if you have a cutting die, it will just be press cut, a matter of seconds. So over time, we've developed procedures to make sure that we shorten the process of making a product so that we are able to make or produce several products within a very short period of time. So it would depend on the size of the product, because we have very small products and we have large products. Yes, so we have a very interesting way of naming our products. At times a client comes to us and say, I like this product, and could you make it for me? And if we say yes, and they want us to probably name the product after them, we're happy to do that, because there are people who've come to us and say, oh, I want a travel bag, and first keep away your pens, the writing pens, because leather and pens, enemies, because once you have a pen mark on a piece of leather, it's very hard to get rid of that mark. The other thing is, oils, like your greases or whatever type of oil, keep away from leather because it really stains. But also, having said that, there are different leathers that respond differently to different stains. Like there are particular types of leather that we use, say, for restaurant items. Of course, when you're in a restaurant, it could be messy. You know, there are food stains, this and that. So there are types of leather that we get from the tannery that has already been serviced, finished, just to make sure that any stain that comes in contact with the bag, with the leather, doesn't stain it. You can easily clean. But there are other types of leather, what we call pull-up. It has, it's called a nubuck. It has a Swedish finish. That in itself is very absorbent. So any stain that gets in touch with the leather, it becomes very, very hard to remove. So what we tell our clients is that please take care of your leather bag, leather item that you have. Just make sure that you don't stain it. Should you stain it, just wash it gently, or rather use a soft fabric, a damp soft fabric. Try as much as you can to clean the stain, dry it, polish it. So there are different polishes that you can get from the stores around. What we call here, we call turtle wax. It's a leather conditioner. So apply, rub it gently, let it dry, then use a soft fabric to just polish the surface of the leather. So that's what we'd say is our care process, care procedure for